What's going on, Pats Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Cans Pats Talk Patriots podcast. I appreciate all y'all joining me, and as I always say when I first get up here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you share the comment, share the content out, share the live stream, man. Leave a comment. Let me know how I can do better. Let me know what if you might not agree with me on the show. Let me know if you don't agree with me. Please let me know. I'm open to all types of criticism, all the negative comments, positive comments. I feel like any feedback is good feedback. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel about it. Got a special guest on tonight, Patriots Global. Some of y'all from Pats Nation might know him pretty well. He's a big time Patriots content creator on YouTube. He's on Twitter, Instagram. He'll be here shortly. We're gonna chop it up a little bit tonight for a little bit about Mac Jones, expectations for this year, the draft. We got to get into some draft. What we're gonna do with that 14 pick. Me personally, with that 14 pick, I would go wide receiver or corner. If you look at what we did this offseason, we got we addressed the offensive line. We don't have a long term option, but we brought in some guys. Re-signed Connor McDermott, tender Yardley Juice, signed Riley Reef from the Bengals, Calvin Anderson from the Broncos. Don't know a lot about him, but from what I've seen, he's a pretty good player. He can play and whatnot, and that's what we need. Um, I actually think we've had a pretty good offseason, a really good offseason. A lot of under radar signings and whatnot. I think they're going to prove big during the season. I love this team. I love the where they're headed. Uh, Mac Jones, make a break year. It's a huge year for Mac Jones. We're going to touch on it in a little bit. It is a huge year for Mac Jones. New coordinator, third year after what happened last year. Now I know a lot of people we ain't gonna say it's all his fault, but a lot of it, I mean, look at it. The Pats locker room is divided. Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones, like the locker room is really divided. So we have to gotta see what we're gonna do there. Gotta see, man. I'm looking for a big bounce back year for Matt Jones. A huge bounce back year, but we're gonna need it. We're gonna need it this year. Like the way it wasn't fine. It wasn't. We didn't end the way we not end the season last year the way we should have. We did not. We should have ended better. It was not a good. It wasn't good. Like Pats Nation, it's not up to the standard. Like it was. I do feel that Matt Jones played better going down the stretch. A lot of people don't talk about it. They just talk about the bad of what happened last year. He played better going down the stretch though. He played a whole lot better. But we're gonna touch on that. Top prospects. I feel like I just dressed wide receiver, cornerback, tackle. Those are three needs right there. Mainly corner. We need some size at cornerback. We have to get some size. We need some size there. I feel like we got a lot of pieces that we want there. But I just feel like cornerback is one of the one where we gotta hit there. Joey Porter. I think he'd be a great fit, a great pick right away. We can go get Joey Porter at 14. He'll be there because it looks like Christian Gonzalez probably gonna be the first cornerback off the board. I think he's probably going to Detroit. They just traded Jeff Okuda to the Falcons. So I think Gonzalez probably going to go there or maybe in the Falcons. I've seen a bunch of mock drafts that got um, Christian Gonzalez going to Atlanta. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Uh, Joey Porter, little tight hip, kind of stiff, but he's long, he's tall, and we don't have nobody like that. Sean Wade, but what has he done? Nothing really. Sean Wade hasn't done much. So it's a lot of times he hasn't even really been active on the field. So I think with us getting size to that corner, that'd be great for us. Um, just feel like tackle, you can that's a luxury pick. You can find you a good tackle in the third round. And we're normally good at draft alignment. We're really good at drafting offensive alignment. So I'm not about to panic if we don't get a one of the top guys, Dewan Jones, Broderick Jones, Dewan Peter Skronsky. No, I just said that name right. It's a lot of guys, man. I like Tyler Steele out of Alabama. And like we've always been big on picking the Alabama guys. So I like that'd be a great pick for us there. Um, I just feel a lot of the guys like Tyler Steen, like that's a good. We can get him in the third round. I feel like we don't have to reach for nobody. Maryland has a great tackle. I can't think of his name right now, but they got a good tackle. I just feel like that's one of the positions that we draft really good at. So I don't think it'd be bad if we don't hit right there. A lot of Pats Nation want to see us go Zay Flowers in the first round. His stock is rising. Like his stock is soaring right now. Like the guy, he's just his stock is soaring. Stock is soaring, man. I thought before the draft, before the combine, I was thinking maybe late 20s for Zay Flowers, probably like the third receiver because you got Jackson Smith and get in Jigba, you got Quentin Johnston, my preference and my favorite Jordan Addison's right after there, and then it's Zay Flowers. But from all accounts right now, it's looking like Zay Flowers is soaring, man. He's been on a bunch of visit with the Pats last Wednesday around this time and whatnot. As soon as he got off his flight from Vegas, went right to Gillette and jumped right into the playbook with Bill O'Brien. So that's the fan favorite I think is Zay Flowers, local kid, and I can really see him playing. I can definitely see the fit. I can see the fit if we can get him. So that's my preference right there is going with Zay Flowers. I think like he just gives us something that we don't have. Bit undersized, yes, he's short. Um, but I just think he can play slot. He can play outside. He can play. He can do a lot for us, man. We love versatility. I think him and Bill O'Brien, that'd be a match made in heaven right there. We can get him. I like Josh Downs also. I do like Josh Downs. So I think that'd be a good pick for us as well. If we miss out on Zay Flowers, backup plan Josh Downs. You can go Jaden Reed, Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. Tank, there's a lot of those short, undersized slot guys in this draft. Um, I was doing some Zay Flowers work over the weekend, and the guy, he is a straight up baller. He plays much bigger than his size, much bigger than his size. He plays, man. Like I think he's like 5'8", 5'9". He plays bigger than that. Plays a whole lot more. Like I like how he play. I love how he play. Um, Jordan Addison, whew, man. I started doing my work on him right after the season. I started doing work on Jordan Addison. The guy can play slide outside just like Zay Flowers. Slide outside. He's explosive. He reminds me of Stephon Diggs. That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of Stephon Diggs. I see Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley. I see all that and Jordan Addison. That's all I see in him. He reminds me of that. I feel like my fault. I feel like with uh with Addison, you line him up you put him in the slot outside. He's just explosive. I haven't seen him like just. I don't know if he has wide receiver one ability in terms of like just taking over, just pretty taking over a game. But I mean, I definitely can see when with Pitt, he a bunch of games that he took over. USC took over a lot of games there. I just don't. I think he'd probably be better served. I think he'd be better served opposite already good number one wide receiver. I don't think you would bring him in, and be like, hey, here's your number one guy. Like I don't think that's him right now. But upside, I think he can potentially probably get to it. I do feel like he can get to it. I do. He's my favorite one. When I put the film with him early on this off season, I was like, my gracious, like I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like his footwork is just incredible, really good footwork. Um, I just think he's a baller. Uh, Play with two good quarterbacks. Well, two. I mean, I don't want to call him good right now because it was in college, and we don't know what Kenny Pickett is just yet. But he played with Kenny Pickett, played with Caleb Williams. He's coming out next year, so I mean, you might see a situation. But the way he was with two decent quarterbacks, I really think Jordan Addison is him. I really really believe that. Um, I just think we can't go wrong with that 14 pick. I think like it's a good pick, and I don't think we can go wrong with that pick. Whether you go wide receiver, corner, I don't want to go tackle. Please don't trade back. We need talent. Yeah, I know you want to accumulate a lot of picks, but we really need some talent. So I really wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't. I just think we got to go. Got to get a good player right there. We need to go ahead and get a good player there, man, and that would be the best bet for us to do. And like other prospects, D, we can use some depth at defensive end. I really feel that we got Jennings. He's in the contract year. Um, he's a free agent. Uche's a free agent. Judon can't do it all myself. Detroit Wise had a pretty good year last year. I think what didn't have like double. Let me look up Detroit Wise stats from last year. Pretty good year from Detroit last year. A real good year. Um, came out of nowhere. I think I want to say he had about 8 sacks. No, he had 3 sacks one game. What's going on, Walt Addison from that Maryland area too? Yeah, they put some dogs out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, you Walt, you know what? You know I'm a big fan. What's going on, Patriots Global?
How we doing today?
Pretty good, man. I appreciate you coming on. I'm a big time fan of yours, man. I've been watching you for a couple years now. You really the one that inspired me to get into it, man. I like the work you put out, man. You do some good stuff.
I really appreciate it, man. I mean, always glad to come on. I see what you're doing. I've seen some of your work. You do some good stuff. So, I mean, obviously coming on here talking about Patriots with another content creator is always a fun thing to do. So I'm glad we're able to kind of come on here and just talk to Patriots.
Yes, I appreciate it, man. I ain't gonna hold you too long. 'Cause I see the work you put in, so I'm gonna let you get back to you. But just a little bit, just give the audience, the crowd, a little bit about yourself, man. How long you been into this?
Yeah, I've been doing this for what I want to say like maybe 5 years now. I started this around my sophomore year of high school. I kind of just started it as a fun thing, I unfortunately I'm not in the Boston area. So where I'm from, there's not exactly a whole lot of Patriots fans. You can just talk to your neighbor about some Pats football. So I wanted to connect with the community more from where I am and just talk about Patriots football. I originally started an Instagram account, like you see all these IG accounts, and
Mm-hmm.
there's so many of them that it just wasn't doing anything. So I was just like, you know what, with my background of YouTube, let me just hop on and just have some fun and just talk football. And it blew up and it became a thing. But because of it, I also found that like being a sports broadcaster slash analysis is like something that I want to do for a living. So I also
Yep.
found my passion through this also. So, you know, you guys can always find all my content on YouTube here at Patriots Global. I do stuff on Twitter, on Instagram too. All that's linked in my video description and all my description boxes. So you guys can check me out there. But yeah, man, like I said, I really appreciate you for having me on here and just always a great opportunity to talk Patriots football, especially with how interesting this offseason is.
Hey, interesting. Interesting is an understatement. And also for myself, I just started this probably about a good couple months ago. You my actually my first ever special guest, so I appreciate it, man. It's an honor to have you on. Like I said, I've been watching your content for a while. Um, let's just hop into some Patriots talk, man. With that number 14 pick, where you see us going, man? Like as I said before you came on, was on for a little bit. I'm a fan favorite of Joey Porter, and I seen your mock draft. I think you had him going right before us. I want Joey Porter. I think we need some size in that cornerback room. I think Gonzalez might be going to Detroit then, or probably Detroit, Atlanta, because they just traded Jeff Okuda to the Falcons or whatnot. So I want Joey Porter, and I told the guys I'd be happy with Joey Porter. I see you're not a big fan of Quentin Johnston, but I like Johnson. I say with that 14 pick, give me Porter, Johnston, Addison, my favorite wide receiver in this draft. That's my wide receiver one, or Zay Flowers. Any of those four guys, I would be happy with. What about you?
Yeah. So to me, there's a lot of different things they can do. What they're logically probably going to do, as we all know, like they're probably going to trade down, and none of us should be surprised. It's likely that they're going to do that. They probably want another top 100 pick, so it wouldn't surprise me. But if their guy falls, they're at 14. Maybe they do decide to go there. They have not drafted a cornerback in the first round, believe it or not, since Devin McCourty. And when I saw that, I was a little bit shocked. And I actually, for a while, had the Patriots going like double cornerback in my drafts, like, back to back fourth round picks, or maybe a first and a fourth or something like that. But, as I'm starting to think about it, I think that they do like the cornerbacks that they have between, Jonathan Jones, Jalen Mills. You have the two rookies from last year. I think they look at it and they say, you know what, like, we have a comfortable group. So I do think they'll draft one, but I think there's a world in which maybe they don't go back to back cornerbacks there early on in the draft, and maybe they go one in the 6th or 7th, and UDFA's as some developmental guys. I would still love to see them take a corner in the first and just absolutely lock it down there in the
Yes.
secondary. I understand that they're kind of switching what they're doing in terms of defense over the last several years. We're used to having a cornerback one, right? We had Malcolm Butler for a little while. Then we
Mm-hmm.
had Stephon Gilmore. Then we had JC Jackson there for a little bit. We've always had that number one guy. And that's really helped our defensive line because our secondary has been able to cover guys, which gave our defensive line more time to get to the quarterback. But now it's a little bit different. We have a lot of pieces in our secondary, but just question marks on where they're going to be put. No real CB1. Everyone kind of playing zone and being mixed around in rover roles there defensively. But because we have such a good defensive line in a front seven, that pass rush is getting to the quarterback so quick that it doesn't matter that we don't have a CB1 necessarily because our pass rush is getting there so quickly. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing them pivoting a little bit. So I'd love to still see them go cornerback. I'm not against Joey Porter at all. I love Joey Porter. I'd love to see him there at 14.
My favorite corner.
He's the best, man. He's great. Yeah. I would love Christian Gonzalez, but like the logical side of him being there is just not there. I like Devon Witherspoon, maybe not as much as some other people. I think Witherspoon would really fit this mold well for the Patriots, though. So if he's there, he's another person that I like. Somebody that they're meeting a lot with is somebody that I think was the first guy I fell in love with in this entire class, and it's Emmanuel Forbes. Now he's projected to be a second-round pick. Yeah, exactly. He's projected to be a second-round pick, but I said I could see this being like an Eric Stokes type of deal where maybe a team really likes Emmanuel Forbes so much that they select him in the back end of the first round. Like I could see him going like 25 to 28 or 25 to like 31 there as Emmanuel Forbes because he's such a ball hawking corner. He brings the speed, he brings the height. He's very small in terms of build. He's only like 166 pounds, but you can put that on. You can't do anything about height. You can't do anything really about how good of a ball hawk you are. You can at least put weight on a guy. So I think teams are really going to like him. I think the Patriots, if they do want Forbes, they can actually trade down from 14. Maybe they go to like 19 and trade with the Buccaneers.
Get back into the 20s, yeah.
Exactly, or the 20s, and then they get Emmanuel Forbes. So that's a guy that I really like too. In general, there's just a really good corner class. Another guy that I really like is Banks. He's another guy that people have even ahead of Forbes. There's just so much talent early on with cornerback. My only thing with cornerback is like I feel after maybe the first 3 rounds, there's a fall off in terms of corner. So if they really want to get a guy who is going to be a potential number one and a true piece for them this year, they got to go with cornerback, I would say, in rounds 1 to 2 there because these guys are going to be flying off like hotcakes. But I still think the right move is to go, and no one's going to like this, I still think the right move is to go offensive tackle there. If you get, I don't think he'll be there, but if for some reason Paris Johnson magically falls, you have to make that pick. He's my favorite tackle on this entire board, so I don't think he'll be there. But, man, Broderick Jones, I think, is such an excellent fit for this team. You look at what happened.
You look at his film, like he's just mauling people, running them into the ground. I mean, the guy, he's a baller. Then he went to Georgia. That's a physical school. They have a lot of talent out of there, man. So I think also that would be good pick. What did Walt say? Shout out to Walt from Detroit Lions Avenue. Could tight end be a dark horse pick instead of receiver? Walt, me and Jerry was talking about it earlier on the phone. I think so because we got Hunter Henry. He's going after this year. He's a free agent. Mike Gesicki. We only signed up for a 1-year deal. That wasn't a long-term deal. So I heard we're meeting with Dalton Kincaid. So I like him. Michael Mayer, not the biggest fan. He's probably tight end 1 in this class, but I think I want somebody that's a little more explosive. It can do a little more after the catch. I like Laporta out of, I forgot the college he went to, but I do like Sam Laporta. It's a good tight end class. So it's a lot of guys. I do feel like we can Washington out of Georgia, another Georgia player, another good pick for us. But I do feel like we don't have to reach for him. We can get that 2nd or 3rd round along with offensive tackle. How do you feel about that, Pasco?
Yeah, I mean, this is like you said, this is a great tight end class, and they're either going to go one of 2 directions, right? They're either going to go with a tight end that can block, or they're going to go with a tight end that gives them that receiving ability. And the question is, what are you building for? If you bring in a tight end that brings in a blocking ability, there is a case where he is a starter for you in at least a rotational piece for year 1, because you look at our tight ends. Hunter Henry's a good all-around tight end. He's a decent blocker. He's not great. Mike Gesicki cannot block at all. You need guys who are going to be able to block there, and I think that's part of why they brought in some extra offensive linemen, because they're going to roll with an extra offensive lineman this year because you don't really have tight ends that can block. So I think tight end-wise, they're going to go with a guy who gives you that elite blocking ability because you don't have that really with your tight ends at all after Jonnu left, or they're going to try to continue to build some depth there at the receiving ability for tight end and go with somebody maybe like a Dalton Kincaid or a Sam Laporta or something like that. So I do think they should go tight end one way or another. Do I think they're going to go tight end in the first? I don't. I know they met with, that Dalton Kincaid today, and he's probably tight end one off the board. I do like Michael Mayer. I do think that he to me is comparable to the Pat Freiermuth, who is the tight end for the Steelers. And I think that he could be really good in the league. Am I going to say like top 5 or one of the best in the league? No, but I do think he could be very good. But there's so much depth here to where the Patriots don't need to go tight end in the first or need to go tight end in the second. I think that if they really want to add some depth there, you could get a decent guy in like the 4th round. And you got 3 of those picks, so might as well use one of them.
Right. I really appreciate that. I couldn't agree with you more there. Lastly, before we get you on out of here, Mac Jones. I have my opinion on him. I'm a huge Mac Jones fan. That's my guy. I don't like this Bailey Zappi, all this bull crap. I don't like all that. Big Mac Jones fan. What's your take on what happened last year? That's the first question. And then A to that question is, how much of it do you think it was on him? How much of it do you think it was on the coaching? And how much do you think Bill O'Brien is going to help him this year?
Man, Kev, we could sit here for an hour and rant about this. And let me tell you, from one Pat's content creator to another, it is absolute music to my ears when I hear that you feel the exact same way that I do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm in a situation of, and I'm big on not being a Patriots fan that sits here and just says stuff out of my butt just to put it out there and be a Patriots fan. Like, no, I'm trying to be as logical as possible to help rebuild this team and be as predictable as possible and bring some legitimate insight here for everybody. And although you cannot say Mac Jones is the future, there's nothing we've seen to say Mac Jones is the future. There is nothing we have seen to be able to say that Mac Jones is also not the future of the Patriots. There's no way that you can go. We are still in a predicament where we don't know what he's going to bring. And everybody says we are going to scrap the offense from 2022. But then you try to say, well, Mac Jones performed bad last year. He's not the guy. We need to find a new one. So how are you going to scrap the offense for the rest of those guys, but you're not going to scrap it for Mac? I think that he was put in such a bad situation that how could you ask him to succeed? Belichick put him in a position to where he did everything to make sure Mac did not succeed. Year 2 is the most important leap for a quarterback, and Bill did not put him in any position to succeed. He did not give him a quarterback's coach. He did not give him an offensive coordinator. We ran through 5 different offensive schemes last year, not to mention that the scheme we were running through training camp was a Kyle Shanahan and 49ers type of system in which we did not have the personnel to run it. So why did you think that it was going to be successful? To me, it just makes no sense. And then not to mention he dealt with an injury. But then Brian Hoyer, the guy that was a mentor to him, especially in a year with no quarterback coach or no offensive coordinator, he gets a concussion and never returns to practice because Belichick did not like that Brian Hoyer was openly not pleased with how the Patriots offense was being run. So what do you expect Mac Jones, a year 2 quarterback, to do in this situation? It's his second year in the NFL. He doesn't know what he's still trying to figure things out. And that's where these coaches and these veteran quarterbacks are supposed to come into such a big play to help him. And nobody was there to do so. And he took matters into his own hands to try to help himself in the Patriots offense. He talked to Alabama coaches throughout the season, and that pissed off Belichick so much.
And I like that. I like that. I like that he did it because I'd rather him doing. I know it doesn't look good. It's not the Patriot way. But I'd rather him doing that, showing that he cares, than not doing anything like that. It shows me that my quarterback wants to get better. He wants to coach hard. And that's why we bring in Bill O'Brien. We bring in Adrian Clam for the offensive line coach. I really feel like before you came on, I think under radar, we've had a really damn good offseason. Starting off with bringing in Bill O'Brien, signing Adrian Clam to a contract from a contract from Oregon, getting offensive line. We tendered Yada Kajus. Made a few additions there to the offensive line. Not the big household names, but they're guys. I think we're better than what we were last year. We didn't even talk about Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he's going to bring a lot. No, he's not number one. The only time he had great years was with Patrick Mahomes and when Antonio Brown was opposite him. He's better than what we had. We basically swapped him for Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers was Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable, but he doesn't wow you. He doesn't give you that after the catch ability as a Juju Smith-Schuster. Just turn the film. Soon as you turn on Juju's film, he wows you. He's getting to the end zone. He's breaking tackles. He does a lot. So I think Tyquan Thornton, we ain't mentioned him. I think he's gonna have a good year. I really think he's gonna break out this year. I'm not gonna say 1,000 yards, nothing like that. I can see him about 50 catches, probably like 600 yards, 5-6 touchdowns, something like that. I think he's gonna be a threat.
He's my breakout candidate.
If you put on the film of him last year, he was open a lot of times. Either Matt just didn't see him or he didn't have the time or whatnot. I think Thornton, and then he's not gonna be our number one. Probably not even a two. Probably like a third option. Playing the Nelson Aguilar role from last year, I think he can be pretty damn good in that role. Hunter Henry, he's going to be better this year. Gesicki, that's the wild card right there because he's a mismatch. Is he a tight end? Is he a wide receiver? And I think we're good at running back. I think James Robinson was a sneaky good pickup. I don't think we're done adding to the running back room. I wouldn't mind us getting Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. I think he might be gone by the next time we pick, though. But if we can get him, the sky would be the limit. I love what we're doing. I'm not gonna sit here. I think we can get back to winning 10 to 12 games this coming year. The schedule is tough. We got a tough schedule this year. But I really feel like we can't be no worse than last year stats wise. Mac Jones anyway. I think he's gonna shut a lot of people up. I really think he's gonna have one of those years, and I want to see what we do in the draft. Me personally, I would love this. I wanted to send that number 14 pick to Denver for Jerry Jeudy because I think him coming out this year, we give Denver the 14 pick. He's better than any wide receiver coming out this year.
That's what I said too, man.
Yeah.
In my recent mock draft, I dropped today. Like, bro, I want to say like an hour ago, maybe I actually tried this new idea where I heard nobody talk about this, and I was like, how's nobody thought about this yet? What I did is I didn't even trade 14. Because they selected Jerry Jeudy 15th overall. So I was like, I'm not going to give you the 14th overall pick for a guy that hasn't reached 1,000 yards yet and give you a better pick than you put in for him. And I was like, so what if I trade down? So I traded down to 19, picked up an extra like third and fifth round pick. So you get an extra 100 overall pick. And then you trade 19 for Jerry Jeudy, a guy that worked in the Alabama offense, a guy that has worked very closely with Mac Jones. So you already have that connection between your quarterback one and your wide receiver one. That what he's proven to do in the NFL is already immediately better than what any of these other receivers in a bad receiver class has proven. And I like JSN. I'm not huge on Zay Flowers, but he is growing on me. I wouldn't be against it if they traded down.
How do you think JSN would fit with us now that we have Juju? Because I've seen a lot of people say they won't fit together. I don't know. I haven't seen JSN play outside. Every highlight I've seen, when I watch the film, he's in the slot. Now, he might can play outside because Justin Jefferson was a slot in college, but he's been an animal on the outside. So Jordan Addison, my favorite wide receiver in the class. If I was in the front office, I'm going Jordan Addison. I love Jordan Addison, just his footwork. Reminds me of a Stephon Diggs and Calvin Ridley. Quentin Johnson, I think he'd be a good pick for us because outside of Devontae Parker, we don't have a true X wide receiver. And Parker's going after this year. So I think, and then with his injury, he'd be a good insurance policy. When we're drafting 14 overall, you're going to expect to be on the field. But where's Parker gets hurt, you got Quentin Johnson. I feel like he's not N'Keal Harry. I've seen some of the comparable. He's not. He's a little more explosive, faster. He can actually run routes. He gets separation. He's just a body catcher. And that's the only thing I don't like about him. He's a body catcher. But I think, like, Zay Flowers, he reminds me of Brandon Cooks. I see some Antonio Brown in him, too. He's built kind of like a Tyreek Hill. But I think he gives us an element that we don't have. He's explosive, and he can make some people look silly after the catch. So, as I said before you came on, if we can get him, that'd be good. Another sticky pick. If we don't get Zay Flowers, I like Josh Downs from there. I'm in North Carolina from UNC.
I like Josh Downs, too. Yeah, that's another guy of mine that I've liked.
Mingo's another one. Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. It's a lot of good ones out there. So, I really wouldn't panic if we don't get our guy, man. I really would not.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good guys. Me personally, I feel like if they want to get that 50-50 ball catcher outside, for your X receiver here, because either you're moving on from Parker or you just want some depth there for, when he's injured or leaves. Bryce Ford Wheaton is a guy that I really like there on the outside. I think that he's like a fourth round, third round pick that you could pick up to be the outside guy, which I would really like to see the team do. Quentin Johnson for me is just like, he's fallen on draft boards personally. I see where people would be concerned between like a him and Harry type of comparison, just because they do play the same type of role. He's a little bit faster than Nikhil, but he is still a slower receiver, like you said, has some issues with drops, and is just some body catches and whatnot. So, I feel like they've tried to get that guy so many times. We've only ever drafted a wide receiver in the first under Bill Belichick one time. It was Nikhil Harry. I feel like if you're gonna go first in as a wide receiver in the first round, get a guy that's going to work for you. Like JSN fits the Patriots so damn well. But like you said, we do have Juju. And the problem with JSN is that he is mainly a slot. I think he could play a little bit on the outside and be fine. But, experts say that he is more of a slot guy. But Juju, although he does play a lot in the slot, he does play a lot on the outside also. So I think that there's a world in which you could still kind of mismatch those guys between the slot and playing perimeter. But man, JSN is JSN is the best route runner we've seen in the last several drafts.
Who's your comp for JSN that's playing right now?
JSN, that's tough. I would say my comp for honestly, a smaller Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
A smaller Jerry Jeudy, because Jerry Jeudy is probably just under JSN in terms of best route runners I've seen come out of the draft. So, Jerry Jeudy has, I would say, a little bit more versatility between inside and outside, and maybe just a little bit more explosive. But I mean, JSN in and out of his breaks, his ability to be reliable and just run excellent routes there. Like I said, I think the Patriots could get him on the outside and be fine. But like you said, he's mainly a slot receiver, and I think that's gonna plague him a little bit. But yeah, I really like JSN, but it's probably not very realistic. He's, to me, the number one wide receiver on this class, so he could be gone. Like, to me, it's draft Bryce Young if you're like the Texans,
and then
at the you go JSN with your next one. Yeah, exactly. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I agree there, man. Last night I said they might go Quentin Johnson. I played on the show last night. I said I've seen Quentin Johnston mark there. I've seen JSN, but I think they're going to go quarterback option number 2, and then you got to give him some help. So that's what I think Houston's going to do there. But other than that, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. Everybody, Pats Nation, or just fans of me, might be fans of Patriots Global. Appreciate y'all checking me out. Walt, I appreciate it, man. My first ever guest. I really appreciate you coming on Patriots Global. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
Yeah, man. First off, I really appreciate you for having me on here. Anytime you need a guy, I got you, bro. But yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube at Patriots Global. Just dropped a new 7-round mock draft today that involved trades. Kind of peaked it a little bit here early on with that Jerry Jeudy there for trade in the first. Dropping a lot of content, dropped a lot of content in free agency, a lot of good stuff coming. We'll have a watch party for day 1 of the draft here for round 1 here. Coming up in just a couple of weeks. So a lot of good stuff coming on the channel. Look me up on YouTube. You will find me on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere else. Everything is in the link in the description of my video, so you can easily find me.
Man, I love your background, man. I love this. I love that mic, that background. That's a good room. I'm getting my stuff set up.
Yeah, man, you're killing it. You're killing it. It's gonna look better than mine soon.
Yeah, I'm just starting. I'm still wet behind the ears, but give me some time, man. Everything about to go up, man. But I appreciate it. Pats, I appreciate y'all joining in. And like as I always say, if y'all want to join in later on night, whenever I put this out, make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let you know what you think about what Pats Global talked about. Let you know. Let us know what I said. If you don't agree, let me know. I'm always interested in going back and forth with y'all. But I appreciate it. And once again, appreciate you coming on Pats Global.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.